नहमदु व नुसल्ली व नुसल्लिमु अला सय्यिदिना मुहम्मदिन रसूलिहिन नबिय्यिल अमीनिल मकीनिल हनीनिल करीमिर रऊफिर रहीम। अम्मा बअद फ़अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम। बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन अर्रहमानिर रहीम मालिकि यौमिद्दीन। इय्याका नअबुदु व इय्याका नस्तईन। इहदिनस सिरातल मुस्तक़ीम सिरातल लज़ीना अनअमता अलैहिम गैरिल मग़दूबि अलैहिम वलद्दाल्लीन। आमीन। सदक़ल्लाहु मौलाना अज़ीम। Dear listeners and viewers, today, by the grace of Almighty Allah, we are discussing another aspect of the concept of worship in the light of Surah Al-Fatiha. You would be remembering that we concluded our last episode in connection of concept of worship on the point of collectivism. As it is mentioned in Surah Al-Fatiha, in fourth verse says, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'een. This was the point of conclusion of our last episode. Na'bud wa nasta'een, this is plural, not singular. It can also be said, Iyyaka a'bud wa iyyaka asta'een, but not. Quran has not educated us to say, O my Lord, only you I do worship and only from you I seek help. This has not been ordained. But instead of singular declaration and singular description, we have been educated to say in plural sense. It means, O Lord, only you we worship and only from you we seek help. So what is the difference between the two? And why the plural sense has been adopted instead of singular? Before coming towards the significance of plural sense, we should keep it in our minds that in fact the act of worship is primarily an act of the man in relationship of his Lord. The man possesses the consciousness of his being creator, of his being creature, of his being created, cherished and sustained by Almighty Allah, his Lord. He possesses this consciousness, and out of the consciousness, this consciousness, he renders his service to Allah. He renders his obedience and submission to divine will of Allah. He renders his service and slavery and his humility to Almighty Allah. And this act of rendering his obedience and his submission and his service and his love to Almighty Allah becomes worship. So essentially the worship is a relationship between the man, the individual, and his Lord. Essentially, primarily, this worship is an individual link between man and his Lord, Allah. And every individual, in his individual capacity, he is supposed to worship Allah. And every man in his individual capacity is supposed to render his obedience and render his submission to Almighty Allah. Every individual in his individual capacity is supposed to be true servant and true slave to Almighty Allah. So the demand is individual, supposition is individual, order and commandment is individual, and rendering service and rendering submission and rendering obedience, this is again an individual act. And if a man offers prayer, he individually is committing an act of worship. And again, he would be individually answerable to Almighty Allah. He has to become answerable to Allah in his individual capacity. And Quran says, La taziru waziratun wizra ukhra. The burden of any soul would not be shared and bore by any other soul. Every person himself has to become answerable for his act, and every person would be awarded punishment for his wrongdoing, and every person has to be rewarded on his good acts and good deeds. So the whole concern is individual. In spite of this fact that the whole concern is individual, now we see in this verse here the individual sense has not been expressed. A plural sense is prevailing. So what is the significance of the plural sense here? This we want to elaborate and explain, because this thing has so many dimensions and significances. So at least one thing is very obvious and very clear by the plural sense. One thing is very clear, and that is the idea of collectivism. Superiority of collectivism over individualism. This is the basic idea which prevails in collective concept of worship. The preference is given to collectivism as compared to individualism. This is the basic thing. Here lies the concept of superiority of collectivity over individuality. From here starts overall the concept of social structure of Islam, the concept of social body and social system of Islam. But concentrating on this specific point, the man has been instructed to say, we worship you, Allah, and we seek your help, Allah. This means that Almighty Allah likes and loves the collectivism in performance of worship. He prefers the collective behavior, and he prefers and he wants and he loves the uniformity of the behavior in collectivity. The same behavior is adopted by individuals at their own, and there is no connection of collectivism between them. So this would become a scattered behavior of individuals, and society would become a hodgepodge of individuals. Quran wants and Islam wants a collective demonstration, the advancement of collectivity in human life, a collective uniformity of the society of all individuals. Individuals maintaining their individuality, preferring collectivity in their life. Individuals are supposed and are free in maintaining their individuality. There are some individual rights to be performed and to be fulfilled. So fulfilling the rights of their individuality, they should prefer the maintenance of collectivity over the individuality. This is the idea which lies in Iyyaka na'bud wa Iyyaka nasta'in. That's why the salat, the prayer, for example, the best of the acts of worship. Prayer is the best of the acts of worship. We take this act of worship in prayer as an instance. as an example to quote to develop the concept. Prayer is an act of worship, and it can be performed in two ways, individually and collectively. If a man performs and offers prayer in his house, this is individual performance of prayer, offering of prayer. And the performance of prayer, offering of prayer in mosque, bil jama'ah, collectively, this is the collective performance of the worship. So the question is, which is preferable? The collective offering of prayer, as-salat bil jama'ah, the collective offering of prayer in the mosque is preferable. That is much more superior to individual offering of prayer as far as the reward is concerned. So Islam has created three levels. He has provided three levels of collectivity. First of all, small mosques in local communities to offer the prayers 5 times a day. And these small mosques are for local collectivity. Local collectivity. And this is given preference over individual performance of the act of worship. 5 times a day, the Muslims have to go to the mosque and they have to join together and offer their prayer collectively. After 7 days, then there is Jummah prayer. Here lies the idea of communal gathering, communal collectivity. So the people of various local communities get together in a larger gathering and offer Salatul Jummah. They offer the Jummah prayer. So this is a communal gathering. That was local gathering. This is communal gathering. So communal gathering, this is again an idea of, the idea of collectivity is developed in worship. And then comes Salatul Eidain, Salatul Fitr and Salatul Adha. These are two prayers of Eid. Again, a huge and large gathering is required for it. The whole people of the whole city, they gather at a place. A large community at large gather together. They get together and offer Salatul Eid. So this is a large human communal gathering. And then after a year, there is an international gathering, global gathering at Makkah for pilgrimage, for visit of the house of Allah. So that is annual gathering. So all of these gatherings, right from local community to communal gathering, to large scale gathering of Eid, and to the annual gathering of pilgrimage. One idea is common throughout, and that is that collective offering of the prayer and collective worship has been given preference and superiority to individual offering of the prayer and individual concept of worship. So this is the idea of superiority of collectivism over individualism. This concept has been derived from the concept of collective worship. Iyyaka na'bud wa iyyaka nasta'een. So this was the idea of collective worship, which developed the concept of superiority of collectivity. So the individualistic thought and collective thought. So collective thought of a Muslim and collective thought for human beings. Same is the idea. And this was at the level of Muslim community. Now comes the level of human beings. Since Na'bud, the general concept of collectivity goes on. Now comes the level of human collectivity, human collective gathering. So Islam has mentioned regarding Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Holy Prophet said, "Qul ya ayyuhan nas, inni rasulullah ilaykum jami'ah." O mankind, O human beings, I have been sent as messenger and prophet to you, to all of you. So Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is not only the prophet of Arabs, is not only the prophet of Meccans and Medinans. He is not only the prophet of even Muslims. Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the prophet of human beings. He is the prophet of humanity. He is the prophet of mankind. And he is the prophet of the whole world. Since it is stated, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. And we have sent you, O Prophet, O Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, only as a mercy of the whole world, as a mercy for the whole creatures, as the mercy for the whole universes. So here, the concept of collectivity comes to its end. As Almighty Allah is the Lord of the whole world, He has made His last Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as the Prophet and Messenger of the whole world and mercy for the whole world. This is the climax of the concept of collectivity. So addressing the mankind, Quran says that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is sent for the whole mankind. So firstly, a Muslim should think for the betterment of his community. He should not concentrate his thought, his acts, his deeds, his capabilities, his energies and his efforts only for his personal betterment. No. He should go beyond it. He should go above it. Islam wants a man to take him out of the narrow sphere of his individualistic approach. Islam wants to take the man out, take the Muslim out of his narrow scope of his individualistic approach. He should become wider in his scope of the thought. That's why it has been ordained, Iyyaka na'bud, we worship you. So the concept of we originates the idea of the preference of collectivity. And then coming towards the benefits and significances and implications of this plural sense. The first thing which we have made clear is elimination of individualistic thought or superiority of collective thought over individualistic thought. This has been preferred at various places in Quran and Sunnah. Now the second aspect, Iyyaka nasta'een. The same thing has been ordained there, and only from you we seek help. So to seek help is an indication towards a goal which a man wants to achieve. Had it said, Iyyaka asta'een, only from you I seek help, so it would have become to the knowledge of the man that the approach goal should be his individual goal. And he should work and make efforts for the achievement of his individual goal. Although this is not prohibited, this is required as far as the education is concerned, the requirements of physical life are concerned, and there are so many rights and so many acts to be performed individually. There is no absolute negation of individualistic aspect of personality. It is required. But we are talking on some other direction. So Quran says, Iyyaka nasta'een. Only from you we seek help. It means Islam prefers that the goal before individuals belonging to a society should be also collective. Here lies the idea of the national goal. Here lies the idea of collective social goal. And lies the idea of collective efforts for the attainment of the goal. For example, there is a goal before a state, before a nation, before a society. So the people living in a society should not think that attainment of this goal is only duty of the ruler, is only duty of the sheikh, is only duty of the leader, duty of imam, is only duty of the government, is only duty of the cabinet. to work for attainment of the goal, to work for uplifting of the nation. This is their duty to do. Although it is the duty of the Amir and duty of the head, but Iyyaka nasta'een means, it implies and it signifies that for the attainment of the same goal, the whole nation should share their efforts. The whole nation should join hand with their Amir. Each and every individual of the society should make a collective effort for the attainment of the national goal. This is the basic idea of the collective effort for the attainment of the goal, right from the ruler to the ruled, the rich and the poor, the big and the small. Every person who belongs to a specific society should work for the achievement of the same goal, that is the national goal. This is the seeking of the help, that you should seek help collectively, so that my graces and my mercies are showered on you collectively. After that, the second point which is indicated and which is derived from this collective sense is establishment of collective unity. Collective unity. I have discussed it in the world that the efforts should be made for the achievement of collective goal. This will create collective unity. This would create collective unity. If the goal is common, struggle is common, efforts are common, then there will be a collective unity. If the goals are separate, efforts are separate, workings are separate, then there will be no collective unity. The society will be disintegrated. So in order to integrate the society and in order to make the society a collective unit, there is the necessity of collective goal and collective effort and collective thought. The third thing which is derived from this Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'een, that is the concept of discipline. Taking again the same example of offering the salah, offering the prayer collectively. Here lies the idea of correcting and arranging the lines. Before you enter into prayer, before you start your prayer, it is necessary to make your lines in order, to arrange your lines. The people should stand closer to one another. Their shoulders should meet the shoulder of one man should meet the shoulder of other. Feet of one man should meet the feet of other. There should be a regular order in the lines, regular arrangement in the lines. What is indicated through this arrangement of lines? Discipline. Islam is deen of discipline. Islam is the religion of discipline. If the lines are disordered and disarranged, there would be no salah, no prayer. Instead of the fact, for example, if you have not completed the prior line and you stood on the second, no, you have not completed the second one, you stand on third, and you leave the fourth or fifth and then stand on the seventh or eighth. So in this case, you will not be accomplishing your prayer. There will be no salah, no prayer. Why? Because you have violated the concept of discipline in offering your prayer. You have violated the concept of order and arrangement. So the collective concept of worship in the form of salah and in the form of various other acts again require the necessity of discipline in human life. So this concept which has been adopted, the concept of discipline, if it is adopted in case of worship, why not in case of other acts of human life? Why not in other social life? So what you earn through your prayer and through your worship should be communicated and should be conveyed, and should all of our acts of our life should be influenced of the gains of the worship. And fourth is the organization and following of leadership. Organization and following of leadership. For example, Iyyaka na'budu, and Quran says, Warka'u ma'ar raki'een. Stand and offer your prayer collectively with those people who are collectively offering their prayer. So offering prayer collectively, you have to make anybody your imam. He is your leader and you are following him. Holy Prophet ﷺ said, Al-imamu dhaminun. Imam is responsible for you. You have to follow him. The concept of following the leadership is the basic requirement of organization. There would be no collective existence of Islam except the community, except the society. And there is no existence of collective society without organization, without discipline, and without appointment of Amir. So to follow Amir, if he is standing, you will stand. You cannot bend down. If he bends down and you continue standing, you will be out of salah. Your prayer will be rejected. If he goes down, you should go down. If he sits, you should sit down. Even if you entered into prayer and 2 rakah had already gone, you are required to leave the first 2 rakah and join the Imam, even if he is in 3rd rakah. Join him. And when he finishes, then you have to stand up and complete your own. So if he is in 3rd rakah and he is sitting, and you enter into prayer, and you start offering your prayer 1st rakah and then 2nd rakah, this would be individuality. This would become individualistic approach. And Quran prefers the collective approach and collective unity. So for the sake of collective unity, you will just start your prayer from the point where the Imam is. This is the concept of organization and following of leadership. And then 5th point of this collective concept of worship indicates the social equality. Social equality, Iyaka na'bud, whether anybody is rich or poor, is big or small, whether he is the ruler or ruled, everybody has to stand in the same line. Everybody has to stand close and close. So there is no difference between rich and poor. There is no difference between the ruler and ruled. So everybody who is offering his prayer and who has entered the act of worship is equal in the eyes of Allah. And Holy Prophet ﷺ said, all of the wrong superiority has been abolished except the superiority of taqwa, the piety and righteousness. The concept of collective worship again gives the idea of social equality. So in the light of these basic concepts of worship, if we want to establish our own human and personal life and collective life and social life, there will be a great change in our life. So Islam wants the Muslim society to be such a society which is very well disciplined, very well organized, very well having collective approach, collective goals and collective efforts. Only then a society and community is regarded a Muslim community. Almighty Allah may bless us with His grace. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ.